As an editor, you'll want to look for opportunities to distinguish elements on your timeline with an obvious difference in color. This is going to help you tell at a quick glance exactly what it is you're looking at. To start, you'll want the color coding to be based on the source clip colors in your project. For example, you might want all Foley effects to appear orange on your timeline. So in your bin or folder, you'd want to change the clip or label color to orange. Now, we typically don't get much into software specifics in our training, since we like to keep a focus on the creative process. However, for this to work for you, you'll want to keep a couple things in mind. Each piece of editing software handles color coding a little bit differently. If you're using Avid Media Composer, be sure to add the color column to your bin and set your timeline clip color to source. If you're using Adobe Premiere Pro, you'll be working with label colors. You can change these clip label colors in your bin, but you'll need to make sure you go to File, Project Settings, General, and check the box that says Display the project item name and label color for all instances. This will make sure that if you say go back into your bin and change all your Foley from orange to pink, it will update the clips already in your sequence. If you're using Final Cut Pro 10, you'll be working with the roles system, which behaves a bit differently than most other software, but is quite powerful once you get the hang of it. Specifically, you can filter and rearrange the content on your timeline by the assigned role, like titles, dialogue, or music. Whatever software package you're using, work within its available features to develop a system of color coding that makes sense to you. There are plenty of ways you can choose to assign your color coding, and it's going to be largely based on the ingredients involved in your specific project. First, let's eliminate all the existing color from our timeline. Then we'll add it back one piece at a time and discuss exactly how and why it's color-coded the way it is. This strategy will serve you well in a wide range of scenarios and is customizable to fit your specific project and workflow. We'll start at the top of our timeline and work straight down to the bottom. First, for our titles, subtitles, and matte, let's actually stick with these 3 shades of gray. We won't be interacting much with these layers, so it's not as important to have them stand out with a bright color. Let's save our actual color choices for the rest of our working tracks. Next, use one color to represent a finished visual effect, say the color of a green screen, and another to represent a work in progress. We'll go with yellow. Now, when it comes to your actual footage and synced audio, there are a couple of ways that you can use color coding to make your life easier. One method is to color code odd scenes one color, let's say blue for scenes 1, 3, 5, 7, etc., and even scenes another, like pink, for scenes 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on. This will help you quickly visualize the pacing of the film by clearly showing the length of each scene and how frequently you move from one to the next. This method is often the most useful. A second method you might choose is to assign colors based on characters. Maybe your protagonist is blue, your antagonist is dark green, your love interest is pink, you get the point. This is great for helping you tell at a glance who's getting the screen time and how often. If you go this route, just be careful not to let things get out of hand. If you assign 10 different colors to your various cast members, you're going to have a tough time making sense of it. If you're unsure of which method to go with, stick with color coding by even and odd scenes. It's the most straightforward and often works the best. Moving down your track layers, you've got your 8 layers of sound effects and backgrounds. I'd recommend assigning one color to all your Foley and sound effects, maybe orange, and another to all your backgrounds and ambience. How about teal? If you want to get really organized, you can use 2 different colors to alternate your ambiences by scene. This is helpful in keeping yourself geographically oriented when you're neck deep in audio layers. Remember, any backgrounds or sound effects you pull out of the production audio will match the color that you've chosen for that particular scene, as you can see here. Next, we give all temp music a color, maybe peach. And finally, we'll assign purple to our various stems, dialogue, effects, and music. And there it is, your completely organized, labeled, and color-corrected timeline. Obviously, feel free to choose any colors you like for each of these components, as long as you can easily tell the difference between them. It'll take you a bit of time to get everything arranged and set up in your software, but the time and the headache it'll save you while you're editing will more than outweigh the cost. In this lesson, we showed you how to color code your source footage clips either by scene or by character. We gave you some ideas on how you might consider color coding video tracks containing VFX, mats, subtitles, and color grades. And finally, we looked at the process of color coding our audio sources, specifically our layers of sound effects, backgrounds and ambience, temp music, and final audio stems that we might receive from the sound department. Coming up in the next lesson, we're going to look at 5 tips for working with timelines that'll save you headaches, late nights, and a lot of wasted effort. All right, I'll see you in a bit.